that. And then we talked also about the World War I uniform type suits that were worn at this time. So here we have this rather shapeless skirt that would have been worn with this jacket that has some interesting detailing on it. There's some event imitation here on the back, and the closure in the front with kind of long line for the jacket, and the self-fabric belt. These were really common during this time period, to just make a belt that was the same fabric as the garment and apply it to the waistline. Okay, then we were also talking about swimwear and how swimwear becomes more revealing during this time period. Of course, this doesn't look at all revealing to us, but the typical fabric, just lay this down right here, by the 1920s was knitted. It was wool knitted fabric in a jersey, so you could get details like these stripes in here. Both men's and women's suits look very much alike. They had rounded neck, they're open at the arms. Some of the menswear ones get to be more open at the side. And then they have what was called a little skirt on the top of some shorts, so that it didn't cling too much to the body. You could see too much from the crotch area. And if you think about fabrics, you know, this is not really comfortable fabric to wear in the middle of the summer, but this is what they had available at the time. This particular one was, it's ready to wear, because it was purchased from a department store that we had here in Providence that was called The Outlet. And it also says 100% wool guaranteed, so there's no other fiber that's supposed to be in here. So it's early fiber ID on this swimsuit. As we move later on in the 20s, men start wearing trunks with tops. Men never revealed their chests during this time period if they were out on a public beach. If you were going to an old swimming hole, I suppose you could, but this was a typical kind of thing that you saw. It was a two-piece that would have a tank top and the shorts. Okay, now we're going to step over to the 1920s closet. You can see we have jam-packed always in the collection. So we're fortunate to have many items from the 1920s, thanks to the Tarochi collection that we acquired in the 1990s. But you'll see that some of the kinds of things we've been talking about in the modules in the class. One of them was the popularity of peasant blouses at this time. And here we see a dress that has the dropped waistline, the hemline has gotten shorter, smocking right here, and then a little peasant detail with more smocking here for the blouse. So this would be a great daytime summer dress to wear. And the smocking goes around to the back also. One of the ways you could achieve the dropped waistline was by having a blouse worn with a skirt. So this is one of those over blouses, or as the British would say, jumper. So I think the slide that I showed in the PowerPoint said jumper on it, but that's what this is, with a wide waist. You could wear it over a pleated skirt and it would be the silhouette of the day. We talked about the popularity of Chanel's little black dresses. So you see that there's quite a lot of black in here in the closet. And it was a really popular color to use. And you can see pretty much these are very similar to each other. Dropped waistline using a satin fabric. These would be silk satins at this point. Beige was a fashionable fabric to use as well. So here we see the beige and the black. And then for evening, this of course would have a slip that was worn with it, but for evening, people went all out with these simple shapes. They would need to do some ornamentation on them, so there'd be either beading or rhinestones. Sometimes we have feather trim, Here we have a lace at the bottom also, and this would have been worn with some kind of underslip so that it wasn't too sheer. We've got a designer dress here. This is from a Paris designer, and it's in one of the other fashionable colors of this decade, which is a kind of coral color. As you see, there are a number of other coral colors in the collection as well. And this one has lots of little cartridge pleats right here with the dropped waistline, and then bias cut details in the skirt. So this would really swing nicely when you were doing the Charleston. This is by a designer named Cheruit. It's C-H-E-R-U-I-T. And we have the label in here. We should try to find the label. It's in this. The other kind of nice thing about this is there's some weights in here to keep the fabric from riding up. It would always hang nicely if you had these little metal weights in it. Where is the label? Here it is. Oops, it's Quinn Ma's. So this was a department store from Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Hannell is from Ohio. And they would have purchased it from this Cheruit, because it was already a big business to go to Paris and buy Paris couture designs and resell them in a department store. Okay, the lingerie dress is still kind of hanging around, but in this version, it's a dropped waisted dress with some embroidery details here along with some cut work. So we find these very popular for young women, for little girls. Lots of these were seen. Another popular fabric was chiffon and georgette. So here we see a dropped waist dress with a little tie that's here and a pleated skirt underneath. And detailing around the neckline here has little thread links from one piece of the neckline to the next. This is called faggoting, which was a popular way of treating sheer fabrics like this when you're joining one piece to the next. And it was one that Vionnet used a lot in her designs. Okay, so that's enough for this closet. Now we're going to go to where the shoes are housed.